Turbo, a Power Rangers movie, makes me miss Ivan Ooze. This is at least 45 times worse than the first Power Rangers movie, and I already hated that film. I only barely know what happens in this movie, so I don't even know if I would be able to suggest ways that this movie could have been improved, but I'll try. There's a space pirate named Divatox. She wants to marry a demon named Malagor. To free him from his volcano prison, she needs the help of Larigo, a hideous reject from a Sid and Marty Krofft show. She spends most of the movie trying to capture Larigo, and by happenstance, she comes across Jason and Kimberly, the first Red and Pink Rangers from earlier in the series, and kidnaps them. She uses them as sacrifices for Malagor? ? The Power Rangers try to stop her from doing the thing. They have to fight Jason and Kimberly, who turn evil. They defeat the demon, then there's a martial arts tournament. The end. Like I said, I don't think anything I suggest to change this movie would actually improve it. But if my family was held hostage unless I boosted this from a 0 out of 100 to a 4 out of 100, well, here's a few things that would need to happen. This movie should have been from Tommy's point of view, as he realizes he's getting too old for this, as he's now seeing the 4th Blue Ranger come in since he became a Ranger. This came out in March of 1997, and the series would finally see Tommy retire from the team in September of 1997. So you could still do that there, but seed him thinking he's getting too old for this in this movie. Just because the primary demographic is children does not mean the movie can't have some deeper meaning. A guy who has seen all of his friends come and go in this team, and he's starting to feel like the odd man out, that could be a good thing for kids to see. I've been there in the workplace. Kids might feel it when they move to a new school and most of their friends go to other schools. Seeing a calm, cool-headed guy handle this kind of situation would be good for the audience of this movie. If you made this the focus of the movie, then Jason and Kimberly should have bigger parts than being imprisoned by Divatox for 90% of their screen time. I'm not sure how, but somehow they need to hook up with the new generation of Rangers much earlier in the movie. It should feel like a big deal when the original Red and Pink Rangers team up with the new guys. I don't know the specifics of Ranger retirement. I know these two could not access their old powers, but the movie should have bent the rules a little. These new Rangers are using Zeo powers, whatever that is, by the time they go fight Malagor, so you could say Jason and Kimberly get to access their old regular Ranger powers for this team up. While that's going on, Tommy can chat with his old friends. Oh, you guys are looking at colleges? I haven't really given it much thought. I've been so busy with the Rangers lately. I said this about Ivan Ooze in the previous movie, so second verse same as the first. I need to believe our characters are in danger from this bad guy. Divatox and her minions are so clownish, I have trouble caring about what happens in the movie. I'm not even sure if I would have found these guys menacing when I was a child. You don't have to go Hannibal Lecter here. There's a wide range of villainy, and these guys are on the absolute bottom as far as scariness goes. Just amp them up a little bit. And there's a way that you could do that. Instead of this demon being imprisoned on Earth, he should have been on some other alien world, and when Divatox frees him, it destroys most of a city he's buried under. It can be an abandoned city since this is a kids movie, but still, the magnitude of this is huge. What if the city had not been abandoned? This should fill Tommy with doubt about his own abilities as a ranger and a leader of the team. If he's unable to stop something like this could lead to his readiness to step down by the time he passes the torch in the series. And if you have to introduce an annoying little kid as the new Blue Ranger, it can show him that this isn't always fun and games. I wouldn't ordinarily suggest doing something this heavy for what is basically a live-action slapstick cartoon, but if you are going to do a movie, then make sure the scale is more epic than an average episode of your regular TV show. And speaking of annoying little kids, rumor has it actor Steve Cardenas was injured during filming of Power Rangers Zeo, so this movie had to work that into his character and use that to introduce a new Blue Ranger. But did it have to be this little kid? I guess he's not the worst child actor I've seen, but even the characters in the show don't seem too happy to have to work with him when they first find out that he's their new partner. Also, Rocky gets injured doing a martial arts thing. Their whole thing is martial arts. I could hurt my back doing something like this, but this guy dropkicks putty people every day. How does he get injured doing regular training for a martial arts tournament? Not to keep hammering at Tommy's personal growth, but maybe this training thing could have been replaced with some kind of Rangers fighting bad guys thing that you normally see in the series, and Tommy can feel like it was his failure as a leader that got Rocky injured. Maybe instead of Justin being just some kid that the Rangers somehow know, he could be a civilian that they were trying to protect when Rocky got injured. Last couple of things I'd change are super tiny, barely worth mentioning. One, don't bring in Bulk and Skull with bigger parts than they had in the previous movie. I was fine with the skydiving thing in the first one. It was there to say, hey, remember these goofballs? But after they land near Ooze's tomb, that's it. For some reason, this movie has them get abducted by aliens, turned into Germans, and then they're just kind of there on the island at the climax. Don't do any of that. Honestly, you don't need them in this movie at all. Along those lines, you don't need Divatox calling Rita Repulsa to ask for advice on how to defeat the Rangers. This goes back to portraying the villains as somewhat menacing. Rita and Lord Zed should not be like the Ropers of the supervillain community. And lastly, why did the Zords get demoted from cool-looking robot animals to regular-looking cars? They still combine into a big robot, which is to be expected, but this is definitely a downgrade. Is it because kids like cars? That might be true, but they like big robot animals more, I think. Anyway, this was the worst movie I've ever seen. I would not wish this on my worst enemy. To be honest, I wish Malagor had escaped and destroyed the planet so that I didn't have to find out about this movie and watch it. That's about it for this week, so next time I will talk about some other kind of thing. In the meantime, have a good one.